Hey guys, we're doing another assorted lore video this week. We've had several requests for lore topics that just don't have enough information to fill in their own videos, and as such today we'll be going over the demons, abyssal armor, angels, and the White City of the Darksiders franchise.
So, first up, let's talk about the Darksiders' take on demons. Demons are the denizens of the Second Kingdom, with angels making up the First Kingdom, and the fallen race of humanity making up the Third. Neither demons nor angels were the first beings born into creation, as there are numerous older races, collectively known as Old Ones, both named and unnamed lurking throughout the Darksiders universe. However, angels and demons have been at war since, effectively, time immemorial, presumably either since both races came into being or shortly thereafter. And that conflict seems to have been the single largest force that has shaped history throughout creation. Though keep in mind that all of our interactions with the Darksiders universe are shown through the lens of the Four Horsemen's experiences, for whom the balance, and thus heaven and hell's war, is of paramount importance. So it's possible that in the grandest scheme of things there have been other similarly important events throughout time, they just haven't been as important to the story of the Four Horsemen. Interestingly, unlike many fictional universes, there are very few indications that the races of demons and angels were ever one people. In many, though by no means all, fantasy settings, the first demons were fallen or corrupted angels. And while in Darksiders specific examples of this exist, there's no particular indication that that was how the demons began. Indeed, it's been specifically noted that the creator of the Darksiders universe designed all of creation with balance in mind, and thus it makes theoretical sense that demons and angels would have been created around the same time. Darkness and evil to balance light and goodness. It is worth noting, though, that as the race of man was the youngest species to be referenced as a numbered kingdom, first, second, third. And as the race of man was resultantly known as the Third Kingdom, we can infer that demons, as the Second Kingdom, were created after the angels were born.
The demons are an interesting people in that physically they do not appear to be a single species, whereas all other races within Darksiders do appear to be a single homogeneous species. The Nephilim are another possible exception, as what has been seen of the Four Horsemen shows base forms that are all fairly similar in appearance, like you would expect, but each possesses some sort of super form, the Chaos form for war, Reaper form for death, and an unknown form, possibly the various Hollows, for fury. If these assorted forms are a racial trait rather than abilities granted to the Horsemen by the Charred Council, it can be readily inferred that the drastically different powers and shapes assumed by the Horsemen's various forms are a result of their demonic forebears' seeming genetic diversity. Each of the demon varieties do have certain visual commonalities, however, not unlike the Zerg of StarCraft fame. They all possess what many of us would consider classically demonic features: scaly or thick and rough-looking hide, taloned hands and feet. Many of them sport horns, spines, sometimes both, and some of them possess leathery wings, many of which are inverted. Interestingly, Vulgrim is the only named demon whose wings are not inverted, with Samael, Lilith, and even Belial from Darksiders 2's DLC all possessing inverted wings. In terms of warfare, most demons seem to predominantly favor melee, using either their natural weapons and powerfully built bodies, or crafting swords, axes, armor, and the like to enhance their lethality and durability. For ranged combat, they rely almost entirely upon magic, often hurling flames at their enemies in one form or another. They also readily delve into the arts of necromancy, supplementing their armies with the animated bones of the fallen, or binding angry spirits of the dead as their enforcers. If Hell's minions have any particular grasp on advanced technologies, they rarely show it. Indeed, the only piece of advanced technology we see from demons in the games is the Fracture Cannon from Darksiders 1, though it could most definitely be possible that said weapon is in fact powered by magic and not technology.
Alright, next up, let's talk about the all-requested Abyssal armor. Or more appropriately, armors, plural. For those who don't know, the Abyssal armors are two sets, so far, of armor from the Darksiders series. In Darksiders 1, it is the only armor upgrade War can acquire. In Darksiders 2, it is one of the numerous sets of armor that Death can acquire. However, it is generally considered to be the best armor in Death's game. In both cases, the armor is exceptionally powerful, In Darksiders 1, when the player acquires the 10 fractured pieces of the Abyssal armor scattered throughout the game, they merge together to form the Abyssal armor. At this point, War's appearance changes. He takes on a much more heavily armored appearance, shoring up any perceived weaknesses his baseline outfit may have possessed, in addition to making him look bigger, bulkier, and more heavily armored, as well as symmetrical. You want to know why I like this one more?
Why?
Symmetry. From a statistical perspective, acquiring the armor increases War's defense, drastically reduces the damage foes deal, as well as granting him a lifesteal effect, gaining health when he damages a foe, making it the perfect armor to fuel War's battle lust.
In Darksiders 2, Death has several armor slots: boots, gloves, chest piece, and shoulder pieces. The Abyssal armor in this game comes as a set, with each item being fairly powerful on its own, but taking up each armor slot and granting greater benefits when the entire set is equipped. What is most unique about the Abyssal armor in Darksiders 2, when compared to other armor pieces and sets throughout the game, is that the Abyssal armor is the only set of armor that levels up with Death, gaining power as Death grows in power, meaning that individually, each piece will always be, at worst, a contender for useful at any given level, and that when the whole set is worn, the armor set is generally considered the best gear in the game. Now, in terms of backstory, we're actually given very little to work with so far as either set of Abyssal armor is concerned. What we do know is this. As both sets of armor are referred to as Abyssal armor, it can be inferred that both sets were crafted using the power of the Abyss. The Abyss is a swirling maelstrom of existence that eats and transforms world, and has been shown on more than one occasion to be a source of tremendous power for those both able and willing to attempt to harness it. Notable examples being two of the DLCs for Darksiders 2, which involve both creatures and gear being created and or strengthened by using the powers of the Abyss. This is supported by the Abyssal armor's place in both games as the most powerful defensive gear that either War or Death are able to acquire. The inference in most other references to abyssally powered objects is that drawing on the Abyss in this manner is either inherently dangerous, or has the potential to have some sort of negative effect on the creation or the creator, as the Mad Smith was banished for even creating the Abyssal Forge, and Argul, previous Lord of the Dead, eventually went mad, but not before he used the Abyss to create and forge a bond with a powerful dragon. For the record, the source of Argul's madness is unknown, but it is worth noting its existence here.
One of the most interesting bits of information teased about the Abyssal armors comes from their descriptions in Darksiders 2. Each entry briefly describes the individual piece of armor, but each also says essentially the same thing about the set as a whole. They say that the Abyssal armor sets are the four horsemen's ultimate war gear, that the rider wearing this armor is prepared for any challenge. The description then goes on to talk about a horseman clad in his, Death's, abyssal armor being a terrifying thing, because the abyssal armor is ritually prepared for the destruction of the horseman's enemies. The fascinating inference here is that each of the four horsemen has their own set of abyssal armor, and that outside of that being a mechanical commonality between the games and the series, there is a story reason embedded in-universe. We infer, though this is purely theoretical, that since the reference from the armor descriptions specifically call out the four horsemen as being the owners of these armor sets, that they were crafted by the Charred Council, or at their command, for the horsemen sometime after they became agents of the Charred Council, to be worn in times of greatest need, ceremony, etc. The Charred Council would certainly have the power to craft abyssally forged gear, and if for some reason they couldn't or wouldn't, they have more than enough influence to contract someone else to do so. But again, the nature of the abyssal armor and its relationship with the Charred Council is almost purely theoretical at this point.
Now, let's discuss the angels. The angels in Darksiders are the antithesis of the demons in almost every way. Where the demons appear to come in a wide set of varieties, the angels are all fairly similar, being nearly indistinguishable in shape and appearance from humans, though sizes may vary. Abaddon and the Archon, for example, are exceptionally tall compared to other angels. Azrael might be as well, but he's always flying and has enormous flowing robes, so it's difficult to gauge his exact height. And since it's generally accepted that War and his fellow horsemen are taller than the average human, the same can likely be said of the average angel, as the angels are of comparative heights to both War and Death. The most obvious and notable visual difference between humanity and the angels are the angels' eyes, and of course, the fact that they all have wings. Angels, without exception, possess feathery wings. Some appear to have a glow to them, though this is likely an effect from their armor rather than a natural phenomenon, as several angels are seen without a glow to their wings. As far as the eyes go, angels appear to predominantly have white or perhaps pearlescently silver eyes, as shown by Abaddon, Azrael, Nathaniel, the female angel from Death's comic, and the Scribe in Darksiders 2. Though it's possible the Scribe's eyes are gray or blue, it's difficult to tell under the light in that scene, and the luster to his eyes is much less pronounced than that of any other angel, which could have something to do with the fact that he is corrupted at the time, but we have no way of knowing.
The most notable exception to this rule of silver eyes is Uriel, who, rather than having silver-colored eyes with a vague, lighter, possibly glowing center where humans' iris and pupil would be, instead has very human-like eyes, complete with iris and pupil, and her eyes are golden rather than silver. Were it not for the appearance of the silver-eyed female angel from Death's comics, we might surmise that angelic men have silver eyes and angelic women have golden eyes. But so far, Uriel seems to be unique in this regard. The other angel that breaks the rule of eye color, and pretty much all other angelic rules, is the Archon, seen in Darksiders 2, who, rather than looking like a human with normal skin, has glowing yellow or golden flesh, glowing eyes, and uniquely among angels has 4 wings instead of 2. What exactly makes him different, whether it be magics, training, rituals, age, items, or some other form of empowerment that have changed him to be dramatically different from the average angel, or that we're just wrong, and that, like demons, angels too have different subspecies, we really can't say.
Angels are creatures of law, order, and war. Their entire society is based around the military, as their existence by the time of the games has existed seemingly solely to oppose the legions of hell. Whether this was always the case or as the result of a culture that has been at war for millennia is unknown. We do know that unlike the demons, angels do practice magic but also use technology. Indeed, the vast majority of their armaments appear to blend science and magic, presumably in an effort to make up for the difference in sheer muscle mass and arcane might between the average angel and the average demon. They use pikes enchanted with mystical holy energies that can be used both in melee or to fire holy death on their foes from above. They wield redemption cannons, similar to the demon's fracture cannons, but, which we are told in the Abomination Vault, have ammo clips and are thus presumably, at least partially, based in science rather than holy creations of magic. In direct contrast to demons once again, angels abhor the use of necromancy. In the Abomination Vault novel, 3 angels blow their cover to attack Death merely for using necromancy in order to ask an already fallen angel what had transpired on the battlefield in which the corpse was found, believing that Death was sullying their fallen ally by doing so. The armies of heaven train extensively for combat, fighting their foes with all the coordination expected of any disciplined military force. As mentioned, they are also creatures of law. The angels believe themselves to be direct servants of the Creator, always striving to carry out what they believe to be the Creator's will, and do so, in part, by adhering to the laws of angelic society. Laws that are so vast in scope and complicated in detail that the angels themselves believe that no being not born into heaven's society would ever be capable of fully understanding their laws, no matter how long they lived, and for the most part, the angels follow those laws. It was the punishment for the breaking of angelic law that started the Abomination Vault novel's antagonist on his path of destruction. It is because Abaddon and the Helguard broke the Council's peace treaty by shattering the 7 seals and marching on Earth that the Helguard was barred from returning to heaven. When it comes to their laws, the angels do not mess around.
Finally, let's discuss the White City, capital of heaven, primary home and bastion of angels across all creation. It is not made entirely clear whether in Darksiders the White City is a world unto itself, or if heaven is a realm and then the White City is merely its capital. But either way, the White City is the center of angelic society. As the angels are a people that have known war for as long as most any now living can recall, their home is heavily fortified. Mystical barriers protect the city, massive cannons adorn the entry gate and are likely installed along the walls as well, as all other aspects of the city indicate planning for those, friend or foe, who can fly. The city is beautiful, with the white towers rising high into the sky, connected by winding pathways, ramps, and stairs. It is a city built by a race full of magic, science, and possession of the ability to fly. Entire sections of the city rest on floating islands, some high, some low, with the city being as vast in some places vertically as it is horizontally. It is also an ancient city, and the capital of a people aware of other denizens of creation. So though all angels can fly, there are bridges, stairs, and great roads connecting every inch of the city so that freight can be hauled and visiting merchants, friends, dignitaries, and other welcome travelers can still make their way around the city. Due to the city's age, the closest thing to slums that have been noted are the most ancient parts of the city. Streets, buildings, whole islands even, that have fallen into some degree of disrepair due to the sheer weight of time. They just got old. Places where once bridges stood that have crumbled away to dust, isolating some older areas of the city from access to those without wings of their own. Amusingly, because of the city's construction and the winding paths laid down for visitors or the hauling of goods, traveling from one location to another by air may take as little as a few minutes, while reaching the same destination from the same starting point may be the work of hours for those bound to the ground. The White City, as the capital of the Angels, is also home to its military, historical, and ruling bodies. It is here that many angels are trained to be soldiers. It is here that Azrael and his fellow historians catalog and study creation, and it was here that Abaddon stood before an angelic council, calling for war with the legions of hell.
And that's basically what we know about demons, the Abyssal armor sets, angels, and the White City of Darksiders. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave us a like, and if you have ideas for videos you'd like to see us do in the future, do like all of these lovely people, and let us know in the comments down below. If you'd like to see more videos from us in the future, be they lore or let's play, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
In the meantime, this has been True Masters and Morons, signing off. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like it, hit this subscribe orb.
To see our last Let's Play, click or tap the link on the right.
For our last lore video, go to the link on the left.
And for a video chosen by the gods of YouTube from our channel, hit that link on top.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.